The fog that shrouded Lakeview Cemetery on the morning of April 15th, 2025, was no mere weather. It was a living veil, thick and deliberate, weaving to the gnarled arms of century-old pines, slithering over moss-eaten headstones, and pooling like spilled ink at the foot of two graves that had stood sentinel for half a century. Bruce Lee, 1940 to 1973. Brandon Lee, 1965 to 1993. The names were etched in granite so polished it reflected the gray sky like a mirror to the afterlife. Between them, the earth had betrayed its silence. A fracture, clean as a katana cut, 32 centimeters long, for deep, had opened overnight. It wept the dust so fine it hung in the air like the residue of 1,000 flashbulbs, carrying the impossible perfume of gunpowder, jasmine incense, and something sharper, blood that had never quite dried. No groundskeeper had seen it form. No storm had raged. No vandal had dared. Yet the wound was there, pulsing faintly with every breath of wind, as if the grave itself were drawing air. The birth of a shadow. Oakland, California. February 1st, 1965. The hospital room smelled of antiseptic and new life. Linda Cadwell, 20 years old, her dark hair plastered her forehead with sweat, cradled a newborn whose eyes were already ancient. Bruce Lee, 24, lean as a blade, pressed a callous finger to his son's cheek. "He has my fire," he whispered, "but he'll burn brighter." The nurses smiled. The world outside already knew the name Lee meant revolution. Little did they know it would also mean curse. Brandon's first steps were on a dojo mat. His first words were in Cantonese. By 5, he could shatter a pine board with a roundhouse kick while paparazzi bulbs popped like gunfire. By 8, he could recite Bruce's philosophy verbatim, "Be water, my friend, but water drowns." And Brandon was learning to hate the reflection in every puddle, his father's face staring back. Then came July 20th, 1973. Hong Kong. A hotel room. Bruce collapsed mid-sentence, a cerebral edema swelling like a storm in his skull. 32 years old. The dragon was dead. The world shattered. Brandon, 13, stood at the funeral in a black suit 2 sizes too big, clutching a nunchuck his father had carved from olive wood. He didn't cry. He froze. The weight of the name Lee settled on his shoulders like a yoke forged in hell. The rebellion. Los Angeles, 1981. High school expulsion. Fights in parking lots. Soccer cleats instead of fighting stances. He dyed his hair blonde despite the mirrors. He refused to bow in dojos. He screamed at posters of his father, "I'm not you." A GED earned in night classes. New York City swallowed him whole. The Lee Strasberg Theater and Film Institute, where he learned to act instead of fight. He wanted applause for lines, not kicks. He wanted to be Brandon, not the son of, but destiny laughs last. 1985. Lynn Stallmaster, casting director with an eye for ghosts, saw him in a workshop. "You move like your father," she said. Brandon flinched. The role, the secret son in Kung Fu. The movie, irony so thick it choked. He refused. Then Jeff Amata, his father's old student, cornered him. "This is your chance to own the legacy, not run from it." Brandon signed. The film aired on his 21st birthday. The path narrowed. Legacy of Rage. Laser Mission. Cult classics on VHS shelves. Behind the camera, he trained again, with Dan and Osanto, filming every kick on a clunky camcorder, studying angles like his father once did. By 1992, Alex Proyas knocked. The Crow, a graphic novel soaked in grief and vengeance. Brandon read it in one night, eyes burning. "Eric Draven is me," he told Eliza over candlelight. Resurrected, painted in pain, finally free. He trained like a man possessed. 12 hours a day. Wire work. Fight choreography. He laughed on set, told the crew, "This is my movie." He proposed to Eliza Hutton with a ring shaped like a crow's wing. He was happy. Then came scene 87. The shot that echoed. Wilmington, North Carolina. March 31st, 1993. The set was a warehouse dressed as a rain-slick alley. Brandon, in full crow makeup, white face, black lipstick, leather trench, walked toward Michael Massey, playing Funboy. The script, Funboy fires. Eric Draven staggers, shot but not dead. Cut, but the prop gun had a history. Days earlier, a dummy round, used for close-ups, had been fired. The bullet fragment lodged in the barrel. No one checked. The armorer loaded blanks. The powder charge turned the fragment into a real bullet. Action! The gun roared. Brandon staggered. Blood bloomed across his abdomen. He collapsed. The crew laughed at first. Great acting. Until the blood pooled real. 12 hours of surgery. Internal organs shredded. Massive hemorrhage. At 1:03 p.m., Brandon Lee was pronounced dead. 28 years old. The lawsuit named 13 defendants. No criminal charges. Just negligence. Just tragedy. Just the end. Or so the world thought. The crack. Spring 2025. The fracture appeared overnight. Groundskeepers found it at dawn, a perfect line bisecting Brandon's name. Bruce's stone untouched. Engineers arrived with ground-penetrating radar. Nothing. No sinkhole. No roots. No vandals. Yet the crack widened daily, dust trickling like sand in an hourglass. The earth beneath sank inward, forming a circle exactly the diameter of the casket. The Seattle City Council wrote to Linda Lee Cadwell, maintenance required, structural risk. Her hands shook so violently the letter tore. She had buried her husband at 32, her son at 28. Now they wanted to dig him up. She wept for 3 days. Then she pictured the pilgrims, goths in crow makeup, martial artists bowing, children leaving empty cups, and whispered yes. One rule, no cameras, no chaos, only truth. The opening, April 15th, 2025, 5:47 a.m. A climate tent rose over the plot like a glass cathedral. HEPA filters humming, UV light sterile, armed guards at every corner. Only 7 entered. Dr. Amelia Chun, forensic archaeologist, hand steady from digging pharaohs. Engineer Marcus Hale, voice cracking with every measurement. Preservationist Sophia Grant, hazmat suit rustling like wings. 2 stewards who attended the grave since 1993, eyes wet. Linda, veiled in black, clutching the dragon pendant she had buried with her son. Hydraulics wailed like banshees. The cracked slab, granite etched with Brandon's silhouette, rose inch by agonizing inch. Dust exploded, catching the light like celluloid ash. A gust erupted, arctic, electric, reeking of gunpowder, jasmine blood. The engineers staggered. Tombs don't exhale. The vault was intact, but the earth had caved inward, a perfect cylinder of collapse. The mahogany casket, sealed with Bruce's dragon crest, sat tilted 3 degrees, as if leaning into a kick. The shroud had slipped. The lid was pried with tools that felt like toothpicks against fate. Floodlights carved the dark. And there he was, Brandon Lee, 32 years underground. His face was perfect. The angular jaw from Showdown in Little Tokyo, the lips curled in a half-smirk he wore when he nailed a wire stunt. His skin was porcelain pale, taut as drum leather, no decay. His hair jet black, swept back for a close-up. The crow scar over his abdomen glowed silver under UV. The entry wound healed into a sigil. His hands crossed over his chest, fingers curled mid-form, the right thumb brushing the dragon pendant. Still warm. Dr. Chen's probe clattered. This violates entropy. Seattle soil devours flesh in a decade. Embalming was basic. Yet Brandon was suspended, 28 mid-scene, waiting for cut. Linda fell to her knees. My beautiful boy. Her gloved fingers traced his cheek. Cold, real, alive in death. But the true script lay scattered like storyboards from a ghost director. Letters. 53. Sealed in archival sleeves. Pristine. From Eliza, the bed is too big. I still reach for you. From Jeff Amata, your last kick higher than Bruce. I filmed it. I'll never delete. From James Obar, you were Eric. The crow was always yours. From a child fan, you taught me to be water when they bullied me. And one, blood red wax. Intertwined dragons devouring a crow. Linda's sob echoed as she broke the seal. The wax cracked like a gunshot. Brandon's handwriting. March 28th, 1993. Mom, the journey we began together never ends. Limitations are illusions. Be water. Flow. Adapt. Find strength in formlessness. Your path isn't mine. Empty your cup. Fill it with you. I've known for weeks. Not fear, clarity. Dad left at 32. I won't see 29. The gun in scene 87 is wrong. I told Prop Master. He laughed. Blanks don't kill. I begged for a teardown. Denied. Schedule. Budget. Tell Eliza I finished the fight. Tell the world I wasn't his shadow. I was Brandon. P.S. I hid this in my jacket. Asked Grip Tommy to slip it in at the funeral. He cried but swore. If you're reading this, the crack worked. My final stunt. Love you forever. B. The letter floated to the vault floor like a fallen crow feather. Linda wailed, a sound that shattered the tense sterile hum. She clutched the page to her chest, ink smearing with tears. He knew. He reported the gun. Documented it. Begged. They ignored. The dummy fragment was logged. The armor skipped protocol. The director rushed. The accident was murder by apathy. But the letter wasn't rage. It was redemption. Dr. Chen's voice trembled. The wax, fresh. Sealed post-mortem? No. He planned this. The crack wasn't random. The subsidence engineered. He scratched the vault floor with a key. Microfractures. Over decades, stress propagated. He scripted the opening. UV revealed the vault walls. Etchings. A dragon coiled around a crow, wings spread, beak open. Below, cut, print. That's a wrap. BL. Linda laughed through sobs. He always stole the scene. The resealing. Twilight bled purple across the cemetery. The new slab, black quartz, laser etched with the dragon crow sigil, lowered with the reverence of a final curtain. The letter was scanned, archived, released at midnight. Headlines exploded. Brandon Lee's final cut. He knew. The accident was preventable. The cover-up unraveled. Linda stood as the slab sealed. She pressed the dragon pendant to her lips. You're free, my love. The shadow's gone. Lakeview vowed eternal silence. The crack? Healed by dawn, quartz fusing like scar tissue. The subsidence? Filled smooth. The pendant? Gone. Linda wore it, warm against her heart. Yet the pilgrims return. They leave empty cups, red wax, crow feathers. At 3:33 a.m., the minute of the shot, the stone glows electric blue. Footsteps echo light, swift, kicking through fog. Some see a shadow in the mist. White face, black lips, smiling. Brandon once said, I'm not here to be my father. I'm here to be me. 32 years after the final take, Brandon Lee is still directing. His body frozen in youth. His truth carved in stone. His tomb, not an end, but a premiere. The crow soars eternal. Like if Brandon's final scene broke your soul. Share with the rebel who flows like water. Subscribe plus bell for legends who edit their own afterlife. Next week, the diva who faked her death and paid in blood. This is Tales of the Famous. Some stars don't fade. They roll credits on their terms.